Hemisphere Arena, Home Sports Entertainment presents San Antonio Spurs basketball. Tonight's game is brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer with the taste big enough for Texas. Today's Chevrolet, who invites you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. True Value Hardware Stores got a tough job to do. They'll see you through it. You can do it with True Value Hardware Stores. And by Southwest Airlines, offering you everyday low fares and convenient flights to many exciting destinations. Live from Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio, Home Sports Entertainment presents San Antonio Spurs basketball. Tonight, the Spurs play host to the high-scoring Denver Nuggets. And the Spurs come into the game with a perfect 1-0 slate. They opened Saturday afternoon with a 110-99 nationally televised victory over the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously a big win for the Spurs. They go in against an 0-3 Denver team, but again, San Antonio will be without the usual starting backcourt tonight. Willie Anderson and Rod Strickland continue to have injury problems. My name is Dave Barnett. Welcome you to our second season of Spurs basketball here on Home Sports Entertainment. We would also like to welcome the newest member to our Spurs broadcasting crew, former Spur Toby Dietrich. Look forward to a good year with you.
Thank you, Dave.
What did you see as the biggest significance in the win over the Lakers?
Well, they did something against the Lakers that they didn't do 4 out of the last 7 games they played last year, which was close against a good team in a big game.
Well, when you played here, you had some run-and-gun outfits under Doug Moe. This Denver team, I guess, makes the old concept of run-and-gun obsolete almost.
Well, we used to think we were sprinting. They're at another gear in this team, but they do have a plan, and they're just trying to get off as many shots as they can and force the other team to score a lot of points.
Well, Westhead has yet to win as the head coach of the Nuggets, 0-3. He has come close a couple of times. They lost the opener to the Golden State Warriors by 4. They were blown out at Dallas. They were close until the last minute or so in Houston last night, and they, as we said, come into tonight still searching for their first victory of 1990-91. Near sold-out house expected at Hemisphere. We're back with the lineups and tip-off in just a moment. Live at Hemisphere Arena. One of the few unhappy developments over the last few months involving the Spurs was the passing of this man, Pat Tolman, the longtime public address announcer here at Hemisphere Arena for Spurs basketball. The voice of the arena, gone but certainly not forgotten. And Stan Kelly, his replacement. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stan Kelly, welcoming the world's greatest fans to the noisiest arena in pro basketball. Starting lineup for the Denver Nuggets. 6'9" forward from Notre Dame, number 0, Orlando Woolridge. 6 forward from North Carolina, number 6, Walter Davis. 5'11" guard from Southern, number 15, Avery Johnson. 6'4" guard from Stanford, number 21, Todd Litke. In the middle, 7-footer from Oregon, number 41, Blair Rasmussen. Head coach for the Nuggets, Paul Westhead, assisted by Mike Evans and Jim Boyle. The trainer is Larry Franca. Let's introduce tonight's honorary McDonald's ball boy, Daniel Hill. Your starters for both the Nuggets and the Spurs, and of course the Spurs without their usual starting backcourt. Willie Anderson with a stress fracture in his shin, out for several more games. Rod Strickland told me yesterday he's going to be x-rayed before the Houston game Saturday. There is a slight chance, he is told by the medical authorities, that he could suit up and perhaps see some action before the Rockets come in on Saturday. Tonight's tip of the game is brought to you by True Value Hardware Stores. To deter intruders and welcome you home, use an automatic timer at the lamp nearest your front windows with a master electrician plug-in timer from True Value Hardware Stores. The Nuggets and Spurs are ready. Orlando Woolridge and David Robinson anticipating the center jump from Jim Capers. And the Spurs control, and we're underway. Paul Pressey to bring it up against Avery Johnson, an offseason acquisition from the end of the bench in Seattle. Quick shot in the corner, missed by Sean Elliott. And Pressey battling with Rasmussen underneath. It is out of bounds to San Antonio. Paul Pressey, of course, picked up in the trade with Milwaukee for Frank Rakowski. One of many new faces in the black and silver this year. Inbounds to his former Buck teammate. Cummings misses on the drive. Walter Davis at forward tonight after most of his career at guard. And quickly the first Denver shot, a two-pointer, nailed from the corner by Todd Lichty. Last year's #1 from Stanford, 2-0 Denver. David Greenwood having to help in the backcourt. Robinson to Pressey. And they'll pull it back out. Robinson underneath. And Elliott ties it at 2. Sean with the slam dunk. Quickly down are the Nuggets. They want a shot every 5 seconds. It took 6 seconds for Blair Rasmussen to switch the long one. Robinson free, 4-4.
David, all the talk about the Denver offense, it really does have a plan. You'll see different guys going to different spots. Everybody has a number, and they're looking for their spot, and they're prepared to shoot from that spot when it's just as soon as they get a good shot.
Nuggets turn it over. Offensive foul.
The Denver organization is not very concerned about the offense. They're more concerned about the defense. They don't really have a big shot blocker in Blair Rasmussen.
Foul was on Todd Lichty. Ever-present full court pressure by Denver. Their idea is to create a lot of their offense from the defense, and David Greenwood came down out of bounds. Spurs give it right back. 10:44 in the first. We're just underway. 4-4 ball game. Nuggets at 0-3. Spurs at 1-0. The most rested team in the NBA. Most teams like Denver have already played 3 games. And Rasmussen threw it away. Here's Pressey. Delayed by Johnson. But the Spurs working underneath, and Cummings turns it over. Todd Lichty with the steal. Denver last night in Houston forced 28 turnovers. That's what kept them in the game until the final minutes, and they did it up losing by 10. Avery Johnson rejection, #1 by the Admiral, and it's 3-on-2. Pressey to Cummings, counted with a foul. Kobe, it all started at the other end with the Admiral.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of guy you want to have back there if you're pressing. He can make up for a lot of defensive mistakes as he does there. And then they get the ball down the court and make the good transition game. The interesting thing about San Antonio's point of view is that they're worried about a team that's 0-3 and hasn't been very close in all 3 games.
Foul was Lichty's second. And it's 6-4. Davis from the corner ties it at 6 apiece. Well, that is an interesting point. This 0-3 team has a mystique about it, and it's, I'm sure, going to be there until everybody in the league sees this rather outlandish system of Paul Weston at least once for themselves.
The Spurs players were talking about it, the coaches were talking about it. Just the mounted running is going to be in their normal pace.
Pressey and Cummings missing. Out to Pressey, into Sean Elliott. 8-6 Spurs. They hustle back defensively. Quick shot. Woolridge ties it at 8 apiece. First 2 by Orlando Woolridge.
Coach Popovich's comment was that if the lower the score, the better chance.
Now this is what Denver gets killed on, their inability to get back when teams throw the long down court pass, and Paul Westhead wants the press to create offense. You're not going to do anything but create problems when somebody gets free, and it's the second time the Spurs have had a breakaway. 10-8 lead. We haven't yet played 3 minutes. We're on a pace for 160 points. Woolridge pulls the Nuggets back even. Busiest man in the arena tonight, our statistician David Robinson. The other David Robinson flying through the middle. 12-10. Avery Johnson at only 5'11", giving up 6 inches in the matchup at the point with Cressy. Walter Davis to Lichty. Spurs, believe it or not, have the shot clock down to 5, and Rasmussen fouled on the turnaround by David Robinson.
Well, this is the kind of thing that makes David Robinson really special. Here he's 7'2", can run the court, take it all the way to the hoop. That looked like a stall there on Denver's part. Whether was that 3 passes?
That may not be. That may be the longest possession that they have all night. The shot clock was at 5 when Blair Rasmussen was fouled by David Robinson. Rasmussen, the 6-year pro out of Oregon, set a double-double in each of the first 3 games, averaging better than 12 points, right at 13 rebounds, and he ties it at 12. Robinson fouled in the backcourt. T.R. Dunn, the first sub in for Paul Westhead and the Nuggets, and he picks up their second team foul. Dunn, the longtime defensive specialist, 14-year veteran from Alabama. Here come the Spurs. Cummings, deflection. Elliott can't chase it down, and the officials disagree. Papers overruled by Reichelt, and it's Spurs ball. Paul Westhead, very successful in Los Angeles, 79-80. Of course, he took over for Jack McKinney and won the title. And then 2 years later, run out of town. Some of the jostling underneath. Dunn in a big mismatch with Robinson.
I think this is the problem. The pass was late there. Robinson is quick to get to spots, but I think that's where you miss Strickland and Willie Anderson, as they recognize that and can get the ball in there a little quicker.
2 quick fouls on Dunn. Corey Gaines is in. David Greenwood misses on the drive, and Woolridge pulls it away. All tied at 12. Just about 4 minutes gone. Davis against Robinson. Now over Cummings. Not quite. Rasmussen for the putback. Not quite. Second one goes. And Denver has the lead. Right back come the Spurs. And Elliott inside. Kobe, that's at least 4 times that Elliott and Robinson have been basically unguarded in the middle. Here's Rasmussen. Sean hustling down to pull down the board. Cummings, dump pass. Robinson got it.
This is what makes it really tough for Denver when they're giving up such a high percentage of layups and dunks. This is what's got the Denver coaching staff a little bit concerned.
Walter Davis, the Greyhound from North Carolina, with 4, tied at 16. Spurs with 5 slam dunks already. They throw it away this time. Elliott split the difference between Cummings and Robinson. Neither one could get there. And off the Spur bench, Reggie Williams, really looking like a new man. And Byron Dinkins, the new acquisition, off the cut list. He was waived Thursday from the Houston Rockets. A few days later, he's got a job with the defending division champions. And a Spur foul as Woolridge sliced across the lane on Reggie Williams. His first team second. Timeout. 6:54 in the first period in a 16-16 game. Well, let's take a look at what's on tap for the Spurs on HSE. 9:30 Thursday, November 15th at Sacramento. 7:30 Saturday the 17th here against the Phoenix Suns. Both games next week live here on HSE. The Spurs have attempted only 2 non-layups or dunks. They are 8 of 13 overall. They're 8 of 11 on layups or slams. They've got 5 slams so far. They have scored on 6 of their last 8 possessions, and Orlando Woolridge has put the Nuggets on top with his 5th point. Woolridge, the leading Nuggets scorer, 28 per game in their first 3. Here's Dinkins, and successfully navigates through his first pressure at midcourt. Underneath again, Sean Elliott. He's got 10 here in the first. 18 apiece. Woolridge out to Rasmussen with range and nice touch as he rattles in his 8th point. Robinson helping out against the backcourt pressure. Cummings with a whistle, counted. 4 for TC. This is the 4th Denver team foul. Walter Davis called for his first. This is new at the arena this year. The HEB Hustle Board. 5 to 4 in rebounding, as you can see in favor of Denver. Each team with a steal. Spurs with 3 rejections so far. They all add up to something that Larry Brown noticed last year. Some other arenas around the league. He said that's great motivation. Guys can look up and see for their own selves exactly how they're doing and what he considers to be some of the more important stats in any NBA game. Walter Davis from the corner with 6. Turnover, Rasmussen to Corey Gaines. Davis under Woolridge fouled between Cummings and Robinson. We'll call it on Terry, his first, 3rd against the team. And Sidney Green replacing Cummings. Green, yet another new Spur face, picked up in the trade with Orlando right before the start of the regular season. Colby, that I think will prove to be, especially come playoff time, a key acquisition.
Oh, absolutely. It's interesting to point out that I think the Nuggets are getting exactly what they want right now in this game. They're causing a lot of trouble with the Spurs getting the ball up the court. I think that's what Larry Brown was most concerned about, having his starting guards out. And there's been a lot of turnovers. You know, even though they're giving up some layups, they're also forcing a lot of errors.
2 more for Woolridge. They lead by 3, 24-21. Reggie Williams knocked away. Here comes Gaines. Well traveled in his 3rd NBA season. Played under Westhead at Loyola Marymount, the infant stage of this system. And the open man in the corner, Davis knocks it down. Denver by 5. Walter Davis with 8.
That's the Nugget offense at work. Everybody has a spot, and they move it around until they get to the guy with the open shot.
And the challenge for the Spurs, Larry Brown says, is don't get so caught up in their system that we take bad shots. And we'll look at that on tape, probably count that in that category. That attempt off balance by Robinson. Sidney Green still looking for his first points as a Spur. 0 for 9 in 17 minutes in the Laker game Saturday. Open again, Davis. Reggie Williams out fighting Woolridge. Lead feed to Dinkins. And the newest Spur with his first 2 to make it 26-23. Woolridge missing. Williams another board. Reggie almost with a walk. And Brown says slow it down. A whistle as Gaines gets tangled up with Paul Pressey. And on Corey Gaines his first as Lichty returned in place of Walter Davis. You expect more than the usual amount of substitution just because this is such a strenuous system?
I think it's part of the Nuggets' plan is to play everybody they have and play at a pace that most NBA players don't play. I was told, excuse me, as I was told last night, in the 3rd quarter on, they were substituting 3 and 4 guys at a time.
Another change is Jerome Lane, the 3rd-year pro from Pitt, replaces Orlando Woolridge. Paul Pressey, very impressive Saturday. 12 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. Got his first 2 tonight. 26-25 Denver. 4 points. Denver again by 3. Long pass, the key to beat this press. That's how the Spurs got their early easy baskets, and those have slowed over the last few minutes. Williams, nice put-back pass from David Robinson. Give and go work to perfection, and they forced a foul by Jerome Lane. That's Cummings' return.
This is the element of David's game that's improved over last year. I think he's going to make everybody on the team that much better.
He really showed it in the Laker game. He had 6 assists as well as 6 blocks. First miss by Williams. 25 points, 7 boards.
I think he's a lot more confident with his own game, and I think he's going to spread it around a little bit. All the kinds of things that he can do, it's going to help everybody.
First point for Reggie Williams. Lead is 2. Lichty for 3. Rasmussen the putback, not there. And a loose ball foul. They may get Rasmussen over the back. In his matchup with Sidney Green, they will, and that's his first.
This is part of the problem with Denver's offense is that they're not sure who's supposed to go to the boards, and that's the reason they get beat going the other direction. In that case, you got a center coming from the top of the key and got an easy loose ball, but that makes him real vulnerable going the other direction because he was the farthest guy down court. If you don't get that rebound, you get beat going the other direction.
The numbers last year for Green, very popular in the initial season of NBA ball in Orlando. He's got his first 2 points in a Spurs uniform. Ties it at 28. Another whistle, another Denver turnover. They get gains for carrying the ball.
Well, you can't do that, but then again, not many officials call that.
The first dribble, I'm not sure if it was real evident in the replay, but the first dribble is the one they called. It's the 3rd Denver turnover. Avery Johnson, T.R. Dunn back in. 3:53 in the period in the tie game. Cummings trapped. Elliott comes up. Now the Spurs with a man advantage, but Dunn is there to do his specialty work. Create the turnover. Lichty. Nuggets with a 30-point period. A lot of time to go. Reggie Williams. Okay, if you saw him last year and compared to this year, there is no comparison. He is a much more confident player. Jerome Lane knocks one down from outside. (32-30). One of the Nugget goals this year is to average 125 shot attempts per game. That would be 28 more than they averaged last year. That led the league last year. Another takeaway. Avery Johnson going to take it in on Pressey and reverses. Pretty impressive move by Avery Johnson. 34-30. Reggie again from outside. Not this time. That's what the Spurs got Sidney Green to do. Bang inside. Couldn't get it to go. Lane the other way. On the dish, Johnson. Jerome Lane, believe it or not, played a college game at point guard. And he showed you some skills at the other end of the fast break. Then the hustling steal. Biggest lead so far for Denver. 3-pointer. Lichty, and it's a 9-point game. 6th 3-pointer of the year for Todd Lichty, and Larry Brown wants another timeout. This is not what Brown had in mind. It's Westhead's system to perfection so far. San Antonio Spurs telecast is brought to you in part by Jack in the Box restaurants. For exciting new taste, this is the place. Spurs basketball again available this year on pay-per-view, a 15-game package on Paragon Cable's First Choice pay-per-view. Games can be seen nowhere else. They include the Celtics, Lakers, Knicks, Jazz, to name a few. If you order a 15-game package, you receive less than $10 per game, over a $4 savings per game, and you receive a free Spurs media guide. The first game is this Saturday against the Houston Rockets. This offer ends Saturday. Call 222-0500 for more information. Nuggets have taken off 11-2. They've hit 5 of their last 6. The Spurs only 1 of 3 with 3 turnovers over that span. And it's 39-30 as we approach the 2-minute mark. Elliott, despite the double team, got it off. Might have been tipped in. And they will, I believe, credit the basket for Terry Cummings. They do, and that gives him 7. Orlando Woolridge back in and count it. Sidney Green reaching from across the lane.
Orlando, this is where he lives. He's at inside of 10 feet and got the tremendous strength to get up and get the ball off and also draw the foul.
Fourth against the team. This system for a big man is really made for Woolridge with his ability to get up and down.
He's the perfect size and strength. He can handle the ball, and everything's spread out for him. I talked to him before the game. He was very happy with the system.
Well, Spurs cough it up again. They are out of sync. This is a Denver dream, isn't it?
They're starting to weigh on them a little bit. They're trying to figure this out. Because they're not giving up layups, but they're Denver shooting a great percentage.
68% to be exact. 17 of 25 for Denver.
It is sort of the same barrage they withstood against Los Angeles, though, who was they were hitting every shot, too.
They hit 67% of the first quarter. Built some big leads. Of course, the Spurs caught them and hashed them for good in the third quarter, running off 20 unanswered points. Woolridge.
Once again, right where he wants to be, inside of the free throw line. Goes up real strong and hits an unusual straight bank shot.
But did he count it? He didn't call it. He did not. 44-32, biggest lead yet for Denver. We approach 1 minute. All the way Cummings. Rebound. Put back. Reggie Williams. Tough underneath. Kobe, another similarity to Saturday when Robinson sat down. That's when the Lakers got their runs. Lane turns it over. Reaches as he and Williams both sprawl, and it's still Denver ball. Even the Coyotes shaken up as another new Nugget, Joe Wolf, in to replace Blair Rasmussen at center. And back in the Admiral along with David Greenwood. Green and Cummings will sit with 47 seconds. Also back in Dinkins to replace Reggie Williams. Pretty effective in a few first quarter minutes. Shot clock at 6. At 4, this officially the longest Denver possession of the night, but Walter Davis still bangs it in.
There's actually 2 picks set in that series, too. It was 2 pin downs on each side of the lane.
Another first. Shot clock at 16. Elliott blows past Joe Wolf. Mercy.
Well, that's the kind of finish that Sean didn't have early last year, and it's going to really make a difference in his game.
Walter Davis, an unstoppable 6 of 8 in the first period.
I think what Larry Brown would really like to have is a little more patience on offense, because it takes a lot out of your legs. And Denver's counting on having good legs at the end of this game, but to bend over and play defense is hard work.
Do they count it or do they not? Reichelt says no. It was after the buzzer. The putback by Robinson is waved off as we reach the end of the first quarter. 48-36 Denver after 1.
You're watching Spurs basketball on Home Sports Entertainment.
Forcing 9 Spur turnovers. They had 6 steals in that first quarter. Of the 15 Spur baskets, 11 were either layups or dunks, and of the Spurs 20 buckets, 16 of 20 from outside. They lead 48-36. Kobe, what do the Spurs have to do differently this quarter?
I think they need to be a little more patient on offense. This is a confusing game for them, and they don't have their real floor leaders out there, but a little more patience would probably help.
That ties the all-time opponent's record in one period against the Spurs. Not surprisingly, Denver held that record at 48 back in April of '82. They've tied it here in the first quarter. Shot clock under 10. Woolridge, strong move to the hoop. He has 15. Orlando Woolridge, 5 of 6 from the field. Sean Elliott takes it in on Wolf. He's got 14.
Sean's doing such a better job at finishing shots like that than he did last year.
Joe Wolf, one thing that he will add to Denver is that outside touch. Never made much of an impression with the Clippers. He may in this system. Robinson beating everybody down the floor. He's got 8. Veteran yet to grab a rebound. Again, Wolf from outside. David Greenwood, several big boards, especially down the stretch in the Laker game. Myron Dinkins has had 1 full practice plus the morning shoot-around today, and that's all he knows of the Spurs system. He's out there running it along with Pressey. Leaner by Paul Pressey, his first field goal, 4th point. Robinson just not choosing to chase Joe Wolf that far outside. Kobe, it's a gamble a big man has to make to take yourself out of rebounding position. And underneath, Sean Elliott draws the foul.
Well, all of Denver center, Rasmussen, Wolf, everybody that's going to play center for the Denver Nuggets is going to stand out there and try to get David Robinson to get out of the paint. It gives an advantage to Orlando and all the other guys that can take it to the hoop. Dave's got to make that decision. If Wolf's going to stand out there and bang in jump shots, he's going to have to do something about it.
Look for every one of those numbers to increase and probably significantly for Sean Elliott this year. Corey Gaines back in after Avery Johnson was whistled for his first foul. Bob mentioned of Sean's offseason weight program. You can see it in his upper body strength. Walter Davis again, 14 points.
I think the real weight is between his ears. It's confidence, and with confidence, he knows it's his turn. He knows he's in charge. He made big moves down the stretch against the Lakers, and I think he's going to be one of the main men for this team all year.
Robinson around and out. Now we've seen what Wolf can do to David. This time we see what Robinson can do to Wolf, and that is draw him away and then drive inside. He forced his helping teammate Woolridge to commit his first foul.
David Robinson did this several times against the Lakers on Saturday, where he just put the ball on the floor and did things that your normal 7'2" center doesn't do, but then there's nothing normal about this man.
Unbelievable as a rookie. And he says he'll be that and more as a second-year man. Wolf again, 18 feet has been his range. He's got 6 here in the second.
It's tough to guard that.
Gets back down. Robinson. Oh, how'd he make that one? Looked like a bad shot right up until the instant it went in.
Yeah, it was a tough catch. The ball was a little low, and then he just followed it in after he got hit. It's just talent is what that is.
You need arc on most shots, not that one.
Just slapped it a little right there at the end, didn't he?
13 for David. First time in a while the Spurs have had the margin down to single digits. Fans wanted walking on Woolridge, and instead they're going to see a foul on Robinson.
The Spurs just made an adjustment. Cummings took Wolf, who's been out there hammering the jump shots, and David Robinson picked up Orlando. Of course, Orlando immediately took it to the hoop. Larry
Brown, of course, lost his best coaching buddy, his best friend in the world, when the Nuggets let Doug Moe go. Several $100,000 worth of contract they're still paying off for Moe. Orlando Woolridge, a veteran from Notre Dame. He played under Westhead briefly in Westhead's only season in Chicago, 82-83. Woolridge's second year in the league. Rather forgettable Bulls team that lost 54 games. After that, Westhead went back to the college ranks. Only now resurfacing in the pros
with a new plan.
And a plan that has been deadly so far since the middle of the first quarter. Cummings threw it away. Here's Gaines. Woolridge again draws the foul. He has taken it in strong every time he's touched it. This time it's on Reggie Williams, his second.
Well, like I said, this is an ideal offense for Orlando. He's unbelievably strong and quick, but can handle the ball. You get things all spread out like that, he can really take advantage.
That relationship in Chicago worked well for him. Under Westhead, Woolridge more than doubled his rookie average. And so far, the leading scorer in 2 of the first 3 Denver games.
What really helps Orlando and with this kind of an offense is that he doesn't have to worry so much about the big center. Orlando's not all that big. He can get up in the air, but this offense, he doesn't have to worry about the big center sitting in there.
Williams leaner won't go over Wolf. And it is off Denver in the corner. Woolridge and Davis said, you take it. No, I've got it. No, you take it. And neither one got it. And the Spurs call time. 9 minutes, 16 seconds in the first half. Denver by 13.
It looked like another board.
Saturday, we'll tell you about when we get a chance. Worth your while to attend here at Hemisphere Arena. 9:08 first half, 62-49 in favor of Denver. Terry Cummings got Woolridge up in the air, goes up inside him. He's got 9. Walter Davis, a 2-pointer, a toe on the line, and that is the perfect Denver offensive tempo. It took 3 seconds to get that shot squeezed off.
Terry had worked so hard on the offensive boards at the other end, and it's a little discouraging when somebody's coming down and just shooting jump shots so quickly and making them.
Denver on an unbelievable shooting pace, 74%. 26 of 35 from the field. Woolridge.
Well, I'd have to say that was a little out of Orlando's.
Walter Davis. Offense off their defense. And Woolridge almost got another steal. 68-53. Terry Cummings fouled. Had position on T.R. Dunn. That is 3 on the veteran from Alabama and 4th on the team. As more changes come in, Woolridge and Wolf depart. Blair Rasmussen is back in along with Jerome Lane. The Spurs replace Byron Dinkins. And Sean Elliott. Also back in for Denver is Todd Lichty underneath Robinson. Going to town now after a relatively quiet first quarter. Corey Gaines right back down. That's got to be frustrating. Because as you said, the Spurs work hard for their buckets, unlike the Nuggets so far. Reggie Williams. 7:35 in the second quarter. The Spurs keep waiting for Denver to cool off. A rare missed shot. Rasmussen misfiring. Dunn got a hand on it. Another takeaway. Corey Gaines ahead of the pack. And great hustle by Reggie Williams. 2-on-1 at the other end. Robinson. Spurs within 11, 19 for the Admiral, 13 in the second quarter. Lichty bombs in another one. The theory Saturday was the Lakers will not continue to hit from outside. Is it the same with the Nuggets here hitting this hot?
Well, you would hope so. They've taken a couple of bad shots here, although it's sometimes difficult to tell what's a bad shot and what's a good one. But, I thought the shot from Rasmussen, not only did he miss it, but it probably wasn't the best shot of the kinds of shots they're looking for.
Williams to Cummings, and a foul on Rasmussen.
This is just a good two-man fast break. And Reggie makes the nice play, and Terry's just real strong. It's difficult to go under the basket like that and get the ball up, but this is just strength and talent. Not much of an effort from Rasmussen on defense.
That foul, his second. Body control in midair by Cummings, the most impressive part of that move. He's got 11 points. Hopes for the three-point play. This is, again, as close as the Spurs have been in a while. They've trailed by as many as 15. This can bring them within 8.
Well, they weathered a similar storm against the Lakers, where Worthy was hitting every shot. And they can weather this storm. I think they'll feel pretty good at halftime.
Yet another new face, Marcus Liberty, rookie from Illinois, puts back his own miss. Liberty, a second-round pick, 42nd overall in the June NBA draft, 74-63. David Greenwood back in. And an open baseline for Reggie Williams.
This is unusual for the Spurs. That time they had Terry Cummings and David Greenwood as the point guards bringing the ball up the court. But they made the play, so it's good.
Lefty backdoor cut and a foul. Greenwood coming over underneath to get a piece of the ball. A foul may have occurred prior to that. It did, and it's on Terry Cummings. It's his second. Sean Higgins, the rookie from Michigan, replacing Terry Cummings. So all but 2 of the available Spurs have seen action. With Higgins checking in, that leaves only the other second-round pick, Tony Massenberg, and also the first-rounder, Dwayne Simpson, as Lichty misfires.
Part of the Spurs' plan was to really stay in front of the Denver team and Denver players and make them shoot over the top, which they are doing very effectively in this first half. But it's a lot of game, and you get tired. Those shots aren't nearly as easy to make.
Elliott to Higgins. First miss is a spur. Williams there to put it back in. Higgins was 3 of 3 off the bench Saturday. Lichty.
I think the same thing we were saying about David Robinson's game, and that he's helping people. Sean's doing the same thing, setting up plays, taking the ball to the hoop and making good passes. And that's just confidence and knowing that you're in the right place and doing the right thing. Last year he was looking around to figure out whether it was his turn. This year he knows what his job is.
But really, that's typical of most rookies.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. The unusual guy is a guy like Larry Bird who walks into the NBA and says, "I'm the best," and everybody else follow me. Sean was looking around at some great players and wasn't sure whether it was his turn. That's just part of being raised right by his mom. He takes his turn.
So his mother somewhat to blame.
Yeah, he's just being too nice to her.
Yeah. Cummings back in.
Sean he's played an excellent half. Made a lot of good decisions.
Back to the bench he goes, along with Robinson. David with 21, Elliott with 16 are the top scorers for the Spurs, as Higgins makes it an 8-point game. Here comes Reggie Williams. Liberty to beat, and he does. Spurs have narrowed that 15-point gap to 6, and the arena responds. Rasmussen. What a quarter it has been for Reggie Williams. Cummings, Higgins forced him into a walk. He handed it off and then didn't get out of his way.
Well, he got himself in a position that it was hard to do anything with. I don't think Terry was ready for this play. But,
one thing to pass it, then you got to vacate.
Just a little collision.
Give him some room to operate. They frustrated Cummings down at the other end. That's his third. Team foul is number 4. Back in, both Robinson and Elliott. Cummings to depart along with Sean Higgins. Really a big defensive series for the Spurs. They want to keep their momentum alive. Byron Dinkins in for Reggie Williams. A 13-point half so far for Reggie. Boy, this half alone, more than he managed as a Spur really anytime last year. Rasmussen starting to cool off. Marcus Liberty not there, and Greenwood clears to Sean Elliott. A whistle and another Denver violation. Walter Davis underneath.
Some old pro stuff going on down here. Walter knows when to hold on for his life.
Westhead looking on as Greenwood looks for his first point. Still looking. He can bring the Spurs within 5. Last year, limited duty for Detroit, only 37 games, 5 in the postseason, but he's got the ring. That's what he went there for. And now back home. He never sold his house anyways. It was a perfect acquisition as far as he was concerned.
Oh, Dave's been around. He knows how to play defense. Just, right there. He's
Robinson attempting the touch pass. And he led Elliott just a bit too much. Here's his defense at the other end.
This is Greenwood on Orlando. They used to be teammates in Chicago. And David got the better of that little contest.
Stuck on 77-71 for a while. Walter Davis on fire here in the first half. He's got 20.
A tough shot for some guys.
Not Walter Davis. He is 10 for 12 from the field. Woolridge is 6 of 7. They've been the keys to this 8-point lead. Elliott trying to match Woolridge off the back of the iron. Here comes Avery Johnson in a 4-on-3. Woolridge. Oh. It really is tailor-made for Orlando Woolridge, more so than any other Nugget.
He seemed real happy before the game.
Well, he knows he's going to play. He's going to get 30 minutes at least. He's going to get probably 30 shots per game. What he has looked for his entire career. Out there for Robinson. First got within 6. Now they've cooled off, and this will be a jump ball with 2:36 in the first half. A Denver timeout. Larry Brown seeing some good signs, but still trailing by 10. By True Value Hardware. Got a tough job to do? You can do it with True Value Hardware stores. 2:36 in the first half. 81-71 Denver as David Greenwood controls the tip. Denver's led by as many as 15. Spurs cut it to 6. Then they turn cold again. And underneath, right back to work, David Robinson. 23 here in the first half.
The key to that play is David Robinson's speed, but John Elliott's seeing it and getting the ball to him sooner.
Todd Lichty fouled along the baseline. Reggie Williams arguing that he tied him up. We'll see if he has an argument here.
Reggie stayed right with him and in front of him. It looked like a pretty good defensive play by Reggie.
It looked like it was the type of defensive play that's too good for the officiating because they don't expect the guy to be able to do that. And they anticipate, they say he must have fouled him, but he didn't.
It'll happen every now and then.
So Paul Pressey in to replace Reggie. He has already tied his Spurs scoring high with 13 points. That came April 10th last year against Golden State. In the first quarter, the Spurs regularly beating the Denver pressure, not so regularly in the second quarter. Underneath, Greenwood turns on Woolridge. First 2 for David. 82-75. On the line for 2, Davis. Follow jam, no. Offensive goaltending.
It looks like Orlando and David are having their own little contest here. But this is just sheer athletic ability.
That, I think, would have gone in on its own.
Yeah.
But that was more fun to watch. 82-75.
And he got one over Davis.
Yeah.
The old teammate.
The turnover picture very much in favor of the Nuggets. Byron Dinkin. Rebound Rasmussen. And Danny Crawford saying the Nuggets will take it out of bounds. I think he blew the whistle inadvertently. No violation. So they inbound it under a minute and a half in the first half. Our conversation with Spurs head coach Larry Brown among our halftime activities come up. Hope you can stay with us. Two more. Walter Davis with 22. Three players in this game have exceeded 20 points. We're not yet to halftime. Sidney Green back in. In addition to our halftime chat with Larry Brown, we will take a look at the new NBA trading cards on the market. That and more at intermission. We have a minute 13 remaining. Until then, it's 84-75. Woolridge 7 of 8 from the field, in addition to his perfection from the foul line.
I think at halftime the Spurs will talk a little bit about their offense against this press. Part of the problem is that if you continue to substitute people in and out, it's difficult for people to communicate who's supposed to be where. And when you're in this kind of a pressure situation trying to move the ball up court, it's nice if you got to know where people are and you got to know who's supposed to be in which spot. But a couple of times here they've been standing there trying to get the ball in bounds, and the wrong guys are in the wrong places. I'm sure they'll talk about that at halftime.
Not sure what they're talking about here. Danny Crawford over conferring. Or whatever the subject might have been. It's still 85-75. Woolridge, 25 first half points. Spurs get Robinson a little extra rest going into halftime. They pulled him. And Elliott marching down the lane. 18 for Shaw. Spurs within 9. Long one. Davis again. Walter Davis, 12 of 15 from the field. At age 36, going on 26 tonight. Another Elliott slam. Larry Brown at about mid-season last year counted up. He said fewer than 5 slam dunks or layups by Sean Elliott in the entire first half of the season. He's got that many in the first half of this game alone. But it's 90-79 Denver, 33 seconds. That, by the way, a new NBA record for points in the first half of the game. Sidney Green, his first field goal as a Spur. 22 seconds. Woolridge over Green. And here's a free one unless Woolridge can catch up to him. He does. Makes a fine defensive recovery and an even better leap over the camera roll along the baseline. And the Spurs will throw it in with 12.6 seconds.
We've already got a whole game's worth of stats, so
we could take all halftime just running them down. Ball Pressey, 7 seconds. And will it count? No. Before the shot, it is the third on Walter Davis. Jerome Lane checking in.
Still a nice shot, though.
Well, the Nuggets have called their 22nd timeout here. 4.1 seconds for Larry Brown to work with. I want to remind you an entire 15-game package of Spurs basketball available on Paragon Cable's First Choice pay-per-view. These games can be seen nowhere else. They include the Celtics, Lakers, Knicks, and Jazz, to name just a few. If you order the 15-game package, you get less than $10 per game, a savings of over $4 for the entire package. And you receive a free Spurs media guide. The first game this Saturday against the Houston Rockets. The offer ends Saturday. Call 222-0500 for more information. After the 22nd timeout, Westhead, one brief departing word for Jerome Lane. as Paul Pressey will step to the line. The previous NBA record for points in a half was 89, set twice. Cincinnati against San Diego in 1970, the Lakers against Phoenix in 1987. It's been broken here. Denver with 90 and the Spurs with 81. First of 2 for Pressey.
See, there's 4 seconds left. You think they have time for a shot?
Oh, absolutely. At least one. 7-point game. Elliott almost took it away. Now it rolls to Dinkins, and that will be the end of the first half. Catch your breath. 24 minutes of basketball coming. Already record-setting offensive basketball by Paul Westhead in search of his first win as head coach of the Nuggets. The Spurs have some talking to do in their halftime locker room. They trailed by 7, 90-83. The answer to our All-Star trivia question, who won the first three-point All-Star Saturday shootout, Larry Bird of Boston. All-Star trivia has been brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft, proud sponsor of the NBA All-Star balloting. Don't forget to choose your genuine best Spurs player. Halftime stats are amazing. 69% to 65%. Free throws are even. Rebounding, the Spurs lead by 6, but as we said at halftime, they need a bigger lead in that category in the second half. They turned it over almost twice as often as Denver. 23-4 in points off turnovers, and Kobe, that is the difference.
I think that's hurting them the most. But, you know, you got to point to the fact that the Spurs don't have either one of their starting guards, the guys that handle the ball in those kinds of situations.
Highlights from the first half: Sean Elliott early and often working inside, as did the Admiral. David with 23 first half points. Sean with 20. They lead the Spurs. Denver ball after the record-setting 90-point first half. Greenwood knocked it out. It takes a while to list them all. At 90 points is a record. Field goal percentage at a quarter by the Spurs, a record, and total field goals in a quarter by both teams. Denver in the first, San Antonio in the second. And 27 assists by Denver. Yet another. Mark Woolridge draws the foul inside. David Greenwood whistled for his first of the game. And here is the man that the Spurs have to slow down somehow. He did a combination inside-outside job on him in the first half, Kobe.
Well, he's a tough matchup for the both forwards on this team. He's quicker than both David and Terry Cummings, and yet he's so strong. He's able to finish all the way to the hoop. He's a difficult guy to guard, especially when everything's spread out like Denver's got it spread out.
2 more for Orlando Woolridge and 29 for the game. 92-83 Denver. Their biggest lead has been 15. Spurs beat the pressure. 2-on-1. Elliott and Cummings. If they can do that, they'll come back in this game.
David Robinson outside playing point guard now.
Rasmussen way short, and it's out off Woolridge. Larry Brown very adamant before the game. He said, I don't consider this, I hope it's not anyway, the Cummings style of NBA basketball. I'm an old purist. Greenwood with the finger roll. Brown says, I just don't think basketball without some semblance of defense is really basketball. We've got to find some way to come back against this radical system here in the second half. Fast break points, an advantage for the Spurs.
Both times down on defense, the Spurs were just a step farther out, closer to the Denver shooters. I think that's probably the plan for the second half, is to come out and play them a little tougher on the perimeter.
This is as close as the Spurs have been in a long while. A 3-point deficit. And a whistle underneath. It's going to be on Walter Davis, his 4th. It's a key call because he has 24 points. One note about what we just showed you, 6 fast break points for Denver. I guess you could say every possession for Denver is for the fast break.
In a sense.
But when they pull up for jumpers, that's their version of the half-court offense rather than fast breaking. Leaner coming 17. It's a 1-point game.
The other end, that's a tough matchup for Walter Davis, is having to guard somebody as big and strong as Terry Cummings.
Well, he came into the league as a forward. They quickly made him a guard. That's how he made the All-Star team a half-dozen occasions. But tonight, he is a forward. And the whistle blown again on Greenwood, his team second. This is a banged-up Denver team. We talked about the Spurs missing Strickland and Anderson again tonight. Denver without Michael Adams. And a big injured list, including Bill Hanslick, Chris Jackson, the #1 pick from LSU. Rasmussen. Rebound Greenwood. The Spurs can take their first lead since the first quarter. It's Elliott underneath, and Robinson draws the foul. Speaking of people who aren't available for the Nuggets, really strange to look at this Denver team without Alex English and Fat Lever. English, a free agent signee by Dallas. Lever also acquired, and so Paul Westhead without the 2 top scorers off last year's Denver team. But scoring, certainly not something he's lacking tonight. Isn't that amazing, David? Without a single rebound to his credit. But now 24 points, and he knots it at 92 all. Woolridge turned away. Sean Elliott. Robinson, first rebound, put back. Spurs by 3. It didn't take long, did it?
Well, that's you live and die with this offense. By putting up a lot of shots, you give the Spurs a lot of opportunities to score. David Robinson contested 3 out of the last 4 shots down the court with Rasmussen and Orlando Woolridge. And I think he's getting a little more aggressive on the defensive end, moving a little bit more. But I think that's the pace of his game. I think he wanted to see the condition he was going to be in after the first half. Looks like he's feeling pretty good.
Cummings doubled. Pressing, no look underneath, and Greenwood with the jam.
Both Orlando and Walter Davis playing forward against David Greenwood and Terry Cummings are mismatched in the post. Spurs just need to show some patience and get it into him.
Walter outside has been a handful, however, as has Orlando Woolridge. And 2 more. 31 for the game for Woolridge. 9 of 12 from the field. Spurs have scored on every second half possession, all 7 so far. They lead it 97-96. 4 minutes into it. Cummings the leader, and it won't quite roll in, but he'll go to the line. Second Nugget team foul.
I think Paul Westhead's really taking a chance here with Walter Davis. They're really, he's got 4 fouls. He's going to need him in the 4th quarter, and yet he's still got him in there guarding with a tough defensive matchup guarding Terry Cummings.
Foul was Rasmussen's 3rd. Terry last year in this season series shot 64% from the field. That's against what the Spurs at that time considered the most helter-skelter offense in the league. They'll have to reconsider from now on. He's 8 of 11 tonight from the field. He's up to 19 points. Spurs again by 3. And Robinson rejecting Woolridge.
Orlando got up there, but David Robinson is so quick with his feet and so quick off the floor that it's really hard when he's in there ready. It's really hard to make that kind of a play all the way to the hoop on him.
Second block of the night for the Admiral. Woolridge. Rebound Elliott. Spurs go for a 5-point lead. Much more of a sense of control by the Spurs since halftime. The halftime talk has done them some good. Knocked around to Davis. Here comes Corey Gaines, and he throws it away. Lichty stayed outside where most of his points have come, and Gaines anticipated a cut down the baseline.
2 of 10. 6 of 8.
Field goal picture tonight. Still above 60%, and this quarter has knocked Denver down to a mere 61% for the game because they're 2 of their first 10. Robinson, count it. Let's see if he might have stepped out of bounds. They said no. We'll see. His heels almost touched the baseline. It was a good non-call, and the foul on Orlando Woolridge, his second. That's the 4th Nugget team foul. Byron Dinkins in as Greenwood takes his seat. And the Admiral with 29 points after 25 in the opener against the Lakers. Give him 30. It's 102-96 Spurs. David, another board. And he throws it away.
I should have caught that one.
Well, you're a few years removed from your. You're not expected to live up to your previous.
But my hands didn't even move. That's the scary part.
Walter Davis taking a seat, replaced by Jerome Lane. Davis with 24 points, but scoreless so far here in quarter number 3. Woolridge held at 4 points. Spurs finally finding an answer for those two. They lead by 6. Lichty, toughest imaginable shot over Robinson. 19 for Lichty, 102-98. Pressey at the other end was fouled. Jerome Lane tried to reach in and reject him. This will be the 5th Denver team foul. The Spurs in the bonus with 6:43 in the 3rd period. HSE telecast Thursday night from Northern California. The Spurs against the new-look Sacramento Kings with former UT star Travis Mays. That's live Thursday, November 15th at 9:30 Central Time here on HSE. Saturday nights are Big Mac nights this season. Every time the Spurs win a home game on a Saturday, you win too. Take your ticket stub to participating McDonald's on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday and receive a free Big Mac. Paul Pressey, 7th point to make the margin 5, 103-98, 6:43 in the 3rd. The records just keep coming. Not only the 91st half points by Denver record, combined points, a new NBA record, 173. Robinson caught in the lane in the matchup with Woolridge. That is his 3rd and the team's 3rd here in the 3rd. This period, 21-8 Spurs, and the Spurs have failed on only 2 possessions. Denver has scored on only 4 of their first 12 possessions. Woolridge goes tumbling. No whistle.
Little NBA contact right there.
And Sean Elliott comes away. Not there. Deflection, Reggie Williams, who's in off the bench after a stellar first half. Lane rejected by the Admiral. Knocked out by Corey Gaines. Number 3 of the night by David.
I think this is an added experience of David Robinson this year. He knows who can do what in the NBA. He knew how far he wasn't. He was clear under the basket, but he knew where he had to be to block that shot.
Foot block by Lichty, reset the shot clock. David with half of the Spurs team total. It's a good point. He's got a book on some people now.
I think you have to have a mental picture of who can do what. If that had been Orlando, he would have taken another step towards, because Orlando would have dunked that one or tried to on it. But you have a mental picture if you're a good shot blocker of who can do what in the NBA.
Off Williams. Williams into the hands of Jerome Lane, former NCAA rebound champ at the University of Pittsburgh. Lichty with 2 more, 21 points. He was the scoring leader at Houston last night with 27. They're back within 4. Much more patience shown by the Spurs in the half court near the 3rd period. Williams hit the side of the glass. Lane clears, gains, leads the 3-on-1. Lichty to finish. And back within 2 comes Denver. Their substitutes making an impact here in the 3rd quarter. Sean Elliott rejected by Blair Rasmussen. Reggie in a Spur uniform. That's 15. 106 to 102. Woolrich lost it to TC. 2-on-1 with Dinkins. And he got a break off the hand of Rasmussen to Sean Elliott.
Good decision that time by Sean.
Also good hustle not to anticipate a bucket by the 2 Spurs originally down the floor. Foul in some Matador defense by Lane for the reach-in. That's his 4th. He and Walter Davis each with 4 as Davis replaces Woolridge. Davis so far scoreless in the half. Woolridge also on the bench. David Robinson and Terry Cummings for the Spurs. Greenwood back in, along with Dinkins, Williams, Pressey, and Elliott. And here's Reggie. What for a guy who was really close to being out of the NBA. What a renaissance by Reggie Williams. He's bigger physically. He lifted weights in the offseason. And you talked about the confidence gained by Sean Elliott. It's also evident in this guy.
I think that's part of what Larry Brown does really well. Is communicate individually with these guys and get them thinking the kind of basketball Larry Brown wants them to play.
Lichty and Elliott, great matchup from their days in the Pac-10. They're the all-time scoring leaders in the Pac-10. Elliott first on that list and Lichty right behind him. Paul Pressey knifing down the lane.
A very nice pass from Reggie Williams.
110-104 Spurs. Under 4 minutes we go in the 3rd. T.R. Dunn, a rare jumper, his first points. Dunn's scoring average higher than it's been in 8 years. He came in to just under 7 points per game, and he'll take it away here. Williams hurting the double team that time by Rasmussen. Walter Davis finally on the board here in the 3rd. He's got 26. It's a 2-point game. Reggie left alone. 19 for the former Georgetown All-American. Avery Johnson, a left-hand runner. Johnson's 3rd straight start. They got him from Seattle for a 1997 conditional draft pick. About as far into the future as anybody has ever traded in the NBA. That is number 4 on Rasmussen. So now 3 Nuggets, each with 4 fouls.
Well, see, it looks like Sean may have pulled something on that move. He's sitting there holding his leg. He went off the wrong leg there and banged into Rasmussen, but
maybe a knee from Rasmussen to the thigh of Elliott. That's what it looked like it might have been. First point of the half by Sean. Sean Higgins played briefly in the first half, replacing Pressey. Sean Elliott now is 2 points beneath his career high of 24, which also came against Denver last March 10th. Walter Davis with a toe on the line, 28 points. For the 25th leading scorer in NBA history. 114-112 Spurs. 2:50 in the 3rd. Nice Spur comeback after trailing by 15 in the 2nd period. And by 7 at halftime. Byron Dinkins can't buy one. Johnson. Dunn wasn't looking for it, and Williams comes away. He'll race everybody down and count it with the foul.
Nice play here from Reggie Williams, where he controls his body and protects it from the defense, and makes an easy layup out of a lot of traffic. You know what it was like? It was great.
Reggie Williams completing the three-point play. It's 117, 112 Spurs, 2:25 in the third period. Joe Wolf in off the bench for Denver had a big outside shooting contribution in the first half for the Nuggets. He drew David Robinson away from the hoop. In there to do the same here. T.R. Dunn, shot clock down to 5. Dunn on the run. He's got 4.
This must be so unusual for T.R. Dunn to be forced to look for his shot.
He'll go weeks without taking a shot in anybody else's system. This one, he's launching it like everybody else.
Throws everybody off if he doesn't shoot it.
Spurs with the turnover. 117-114. A relatively slowly paced third quarter after the record-setting pace in the first half. Denver turns it right back over.
They actually ran a play that time. Set two picks on the weak side. And I guess they're unfamiliar with setting those picks, but that was a moving screen violation there.
This is a major call as Walter Davis departs with 5 fouls. There go 28 of your points if you're Paul Westhead. Woolridge back in the game, and an illegal defense against Denver on Todd Lichty. They caught him not close enough to an individual. In reality, he's like the front end of a 1-2-2 zone, way up high, and therefore the illegal defense. First warning against either team. Hasn't been time for the officials to look for things like illegal defense in this game. Sean Higgins, known for the outside shot at Michigan. Double dribble as Denver gives it right back. Larry Brown's got to be awfully pleased with the third quarter. I think a question in the fourth quarter will be if his starters will have enough gas. He has tried to substitute as frequently as possible and still keep control of the game here in the third quarter.
I think he was worrying about that yesterday. Now even more so.
Todd Lichty's third foul. Paul Westhead, to keep his players in shape, does some unusual things. He practices underwater sprinting, for one thing. They all get in the pool, Westhead included. They wear life jackets and they sprint in water. One of various ways that he'll try to make them the best conditioned team in the NBA. They'd have to be to play this system.
I think it's also going to help them being in Denver all year. I think it's always been an advantage to be there. You come down at normal altitude, you're just in a little better condition than everyone else.
Not there for Higgins, nor Cummings. This time count it. 21 for TC. The lead is 7. Take away Higgins. Dinkins has Williams and Cummings, but T.R. Dunn takes it away. Johnson behind Wolf, and almost a steal for Higgins. Instead, a three-pointer, and Lichty rims it out. Robinson all the way. Yes, sir.
Just terrific athletic ability by David Robinson. The problem is that this is the kind of thing the Spurs like to do, is to really get the crowd going and get to running. It sort of works against them against a team like Denver.
Avery Johnson somehow.
They want this pace.
Somehow Johnson, in all the traffic, got it down. Alley-oop. Woolridge foiled it, but Cummings was there. Perfect positioning. And Avery Johnson misses everything as the third quarter comes to a close. What a way to end it for the Admiral.
with 2 giant steps.
125 to 116. In the third period, the Spurs 42, the Nuggets 26. Combined total of 155 shots by both teams. 7 players have at least 20 points, led by David Robinson's 34. This copyright program presented by the authority of HSE, the NBA, and the Spurs, and is intended solely for the non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication or reproduction or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written permission of the NBA, Spurs, and HSE is prohibited. Fourth quarter begins. Spurs by 9 after trailing by as many as 15. The fourth quarter eventually will be a staple of the Nuggets. They feel once they're completely comfortable with their system. It's been their downfall so far. They've lost a couple of close games in their early start. Sidney Green inside to make it an 11-point game. They couldn't hold a second half lead at Houston last night. And the Spurs hope to nurse this 11-point margin the rest of the way. Inside, a lean called here. Green leaning on Orlando Woolridge for his second foul. Spurs led by Robinson's 34, Cummings 23, Elliott and Williams each with 22. That's a new career high in the NBA for Reggie Williams, and David Robinson beating it to the locker room.
It looked like he might have jammed his toe. I'm not sure. I see Dr. Henry going over there to check it out.
Avery Johnson not in sync with his target that time. Of course, as soon as we get word from the Spurs locker room, we'll pass it along to you. The Spurs trainer, John Anderson, did not follow Robinson. Maybe he's suddenly been stricken with some sort of illness.
No, it looked like he hurt his toe. He was looking at his foot, and Jack Henry, Dr. Jack Henry, followed him in there.
David Greenwood from 5. 8 for Greenwood. He's the 5th Spur to leave and return to the franchise. Briefly in 88-89 was a Nugget. Here's a block, but they say Williams got Walter Davis with the body. That's the 3rd on Reggie. It's updated. That is the we've got Williams with 3 fouls.
I think some of what we're seeing here is some adjustments Larry Brown made in the locker room at halftime. They've pushed the defense out at certain guys and not pushing it out at other guys. Obviously, Walter Davis is having a great game, and people are paying more attention to him. When Robinson was in there, he was paying a lot of attention to where Orlando was at all times. I think they're just making adjustments. Good teams will do that. And I think the Spurs have just upped the ante a little bit on defense.
By the way, the graphic was correct. It is 4 on Reggie Williams, 129 to 118. That press by Denver not bothering the Spurs nearly as much as it did in the first half, as Elliott goes inside his first second half field goal. 24 points for the game. Corey Gaines lost it to Pressey. And it's a 4-on-1 cavalry charge, and Green fumbled it away to Rasmussen. The problem at the other end, 3-on-2. Davis rebound, tap back to him by Gaines. He's got 32.
Another layup for Walter Davis.
Yeah, it really is tonight. Anything 15 feet and on out. 131 to 120. The Spurs record for total points in a game, 171. They're 40 points off. Not impossible. A dozen for Paul Pressey.
A nice backdoor cut and a very nice pass from Reggie Williams.
And a wild miss and a foul at the other end. Corey Gaines out of control. They call the foul on Woolridge after the miss by Gaines. It's his 3rd. Woolridge got out of the picture for most of that, but he was still whistled. Byron Dinkins to bring it up. Dinkins, second-year man from North Carolina, Charlotte. Coached by former NBA star Jeff Mullins there, and not finding the outside range tonight. Elliott pulls it down. Spurs with a wide rebounding edge. And a 3-second violation. Terry Cummings expected, I think, Dinkins to shoot rather than pass, and he got caught in the lane. Not unusual between brand new teammates. Outside, a rare miss by Davis. Tap missed. Control by Cummings. They can go up by 15 after trailing by 15. And that time Cummings a bit out of control, but it's knocked out by Jerome Lane and still belongs to the Spurs. The opponent's record, by the way, against the Spurs is 166 points. Both the Spurs scoring record per game and the opponent's record came in triple overtime against Milwaukee in March of '82. Lichty and Marcus Liberty into the game. Woolridge and Davis are out. This is a key stretch for Denver here without their top two scorers, trailing by 13. Cummings knocked almost right back to him. Jerome Lane jostled between Cummings and Elliott. That's going to be number 4 on Terry. Third against the team. Against a lot of teams, a 13-point margin with 8:49 to go is something that you can nurse the rest of the way, and I'm not sure if that's possible against this Denver system.
It's hard to figure out how many more jump shots people like Walter Davis, the people who can finish a game like this. I mean, there's a lot of players who can shoot jump shots during the course of an NBA game, but to finish well, it requires special talent, and Walter Davis has that kind of talent, but he's put up a lot of shots in this game.
So has Todd Lichty, one of the few that's misfired on it. Spurs in the passing game. Dinkins almost lost it. Surrounded was Cummings and Corey Gaines at the other end. Too hard. Dinkins out fighting Todd Lichty. Reggie Williams. Rebound Marcus Liberty. Corey Gaines. He says, why not from three-point range? And believe it or not, that is the first three-point basket in this game. All the points. And not that many from three-point range. Beg your pardon. They had one previous three. It was by Lichty. 133-123. Inside contact called against Denver. Jerome Lane whistled for the 5th time. So he joins Walter Davis, twirling the towel with 5 fouls.
We've got David Robinson back in. I guess he's been checked out by the doctor.
For a guy who must have had an injured toe, he wasn't limping. He almost sprinted into the locker room. Whatever it was, they took care of in a hurry. A Denver timeout. 7:42 in the ball game. 133-123 as the Spurs try to hang on. Anderson and Rod Strickland, this is it, but of course not available again tonight. Our NBA scoreboard check tonight. Cleveland wins over Charlotte. Dallas wins at Philly after they won in New York last night. Chicago finally a winner. Golden State in the second with the lead, and Detroit and the Clippers later on. Here, 7:38 remaining, 133-123, and Corey Gaines is whistled for his second foul. Each team with 3 right now. Sidney Green in for the Spurs. Illegal defense call number 2 against the Spurs, or against the Nuggets, so that is a technical. Paul Westhead upset as Sean Elliott will attempt the tee. He steps up a perfect 4 for 4 at the line. Spurs back here against Houston Saturday. A free Spurs calendar to the first 10,000 fans in the building. It features color photos, great moments in Spurs history, and a list of the Spurs promotions for the year, courtesy of First Gibraltar San Antonio, for years to come. Robinson. No match for Marcus Liberty. 36 for the Admiral. 136-123 San Antonio. Liberty, a measure of revenge. He's got 4. That halftime update we gave you, Golden State leading Phoenix in the second rather than Cleveland. Robinson draws the double team briefly. Now drives on Rasmussen. Backhand will put him on the line. If it's on Rasmussen, it's his fifth, adding to their foul woes. It is his fifth as Woolridge checks in for Marcus Liberty. Woolridge will have to shoulder much of the load now because he's only got 3 fouls. Lane, Rasmussen, and Davis all with 5.
Well, I think they were trying to avoid just that possibility with Rasmussen not guarding David Robinson the time before. Liberty proved not to be able to handle him, and Rasmussen then picks up his 5th foul the next time down.
Robinson with 37 points. Within 4 of his career high. Here comes Dinkins with Sidney Green, the 2 newest Spurs, and Green much too much on the layup attempt. Woolridge too much again. Lane can't put it back. Second time works. 4 points for Jerome Lane, who has lost 15 pounds to get himself ready to play this system. Never a favorite of Doug Moe. He's got a second chance with the new coaching regime. There's 39 for Davis.
One more nice assist from Sean Elliott making the shot.
All alone, Rasmussen. It's a lot like the Lakers. They were unbelievable in the first quarter. Couldn't buy one in the fourth quarter. Byron and Dinkins likewise can't buy one tonight. Woolridge can't get it over Robinson. Dinkins in the 2-on-2. Robinson snaking his way around Rasmussen, but he stepped out of bounds. The HEB hustle board tonight well in favor of the Spurs, 60-46. Again, this is a new feature in the arena. Total rebounds, total steals, total blocks. Larry Brown hopes to use it as a motivational point. Worked for Portland last year. He hopes to use that as an equalizer this year. Rasmussen, a 360 spin. He's got 10.
Tough shot that time for Blair. David's paying a lot more attention to him this half, and I think he's not had nearly the shooting percentage this half that he did earlier.
He's also the game's leading rebounder with 11. He's had a double-double in every game they played. 25 for Cummings. 141 to 129. And in a world of trouble, Corey Gaines, they say jump ball, despite the fact he took 3 or 4 giant steps. More headaches for the Nuggets. Mike Evans, you see, their new assistant coach alongside Jim Boyle. Like Westhead, a former St. Joseph's University head coach.
It's one more instance of the kind of things David Robinson does that is unusual for a 7-footer. Is he's out there actually tying a guy up in a double team.
Timeout call, 5:04 remaining. The Spurs by 12. Hold bench featuring some folks in foul trouble. Jerome Lane has 5. Walter Davis has 5, and Blair Rasmussen has 5, but the latter 2 are out there because the Spurs have a 12-point lead with 5 minutes remaining. Corey Gaines, Rasmussen, and Robinson, who didn't have a single rebound in the first half, now a total of 7 to match his total from Saturday afternoon.
There weren't many missed shots in the first half.
That's true.
2 rebounds.
Rebounds are at a premium for everybody. Terry Cummings, 27.
I think as he did against the Lakers, he's taken over this fourth quarter.
Loose ball foul. Paul Pressey.
Lichty has been fading into that corner and shooting that jump shot. This time he takes it to the hoop. And
well, they originally signaled Pressey. Now they say Terry Cummings, and that is his 5th. He is the first Spur with 5, and the team has a total of 4. And 4:23 for Denver, if they catch fire again, is plenty of time, even though they trail by 14. Woolridge with a foul. Spurs wanted traveling, but Jim Capers is going to say the foul occurred when a knee was placed in the path of Orlando Woolridge.
Well, Orlando finally was really fighting for position to post up David Robinson. Why, I'm not sure, but when he finally got the ball where he wanted it, he took it right by Robinson and drew the foul.
That is number 4 on David, and the team's over the limit. Woolridge, 31 points. That's only his 5th here in the second half, however. Nuggets got him relatively cheaply from the Lakers, only 2 second-round picks. And they get, for that small price, one of the cornerstones of their new attack. And a relatively young 30, Woolridge, in his 10th NBA season. Way out. TC has 29, 145 to 131. Lichty on the left hand, wraparound reverse. What a shot. 27 for Todd Lichty. Elliott at the other end. Sean with a career high 26.
The career high dunks in a game, too.
Has to be. I think he had that in the first half. Davis. Shots haven't fallen. Had a trouble-filled second half because of the fouls. And now 3:20 remaining. The Spurs can seriously air out the ball, and there may not be enough time for Denver to come back. If you have a layup, you're going to take it, and Pressey did there. He's got 14. The lead is 16. Avery Johnson. Nice dish. Woolridge jams. 35 for him. 149, 135. Already one of the top 4 scoring games in regulation play in Spurs history. Another big fourth quarter for Cummings and Elliott. Skying for the rebound. Pressey pulls it back out. A good decision with 2.5 minutes to go. And Robinson has now tied his career high with 41. Matching a game March 2nd against Golden State. Woolridge rebounded by David.
That's 2 pretty tired plays by Orlando Woolridge.
On the other hand, Terry Cummings with energy to spare here down the stretch. It's an 18-point Spurs lead. Woolridge mustering it up to knock that one down.
Another surge of energy. Always going to the offensive end.
Sean Elliott has 28. A career high for Sean as well. 3-pointer Lichty not there. The legs might be a bit rubbery by this time. And with 1:47 remaining, this one firmly in hand for the Spurs. They're going to go 2-0 to start the 90-91 season. The Nuggets will remain winless at 0-4. And Sean Elliott with the best night of his young NBA career. He's had his 2 best games against Denver, 24 last March, and has exceeded that with 29 here tonight. A well-earned early departure for the second-year man from Arizona. Spurs get Higgins in along with Green, Williams, and for the first time tonight, Tony Massenberg. So all the Spurs have played except for Willie Schützes. There's a new career high for Robinson, 42. We don't have enough time to run down all the records that have been set in this game, team records and NBA records. Check your morning newspaper, and it'll take them hours to get them all compiled and straight. 157, 137. Anthony Cook Sean Elliott's teammate at Arizona with the 22nd timeout called by the Spurs. It's now the third highest scoring game in Spurs history. Regulation for the Spurs history. Might be a chance for Brown to clear the rest of his bench, but he says no, not this time for Shinsis. And he'll keep those same 5 out there. Tony Massenberg to inbound the ball. Sean Higgins in deep. Turned away by Rasmussen once, but not twice. 4 for Higgins. Extreme youth on the floor for Denver right now. Lichty fouled. He's a second-year man. Anthony Cook played overseas last year. He's a rookie in the NBA. Liberty's a rookie. Gaines just in his 3rd year. Rasmussen, the graybeard, at age 27 out there for Paul Westhead. And here's Lichty. A reminder that the entire 15-game Spurs package on Paragon Cable's First Choice pay-per-view available at a discount, less than $10 per game if you order the entire package. Some of the top games of the year: Celtics, Lakers, Knicks, Jazz, to name a few. Call 222-0500 for more information. 1:15 to play. And Tony Massenberg rejected by Anthony Cook. And an elbow foul. Massenberg not only with the rejection, but they're calling for a foul. That slight push off with the left elbow there.
In Tony's defense, it's tough to sit there all night and go in the last minute and make something happen.
You got to have one stat at least, even if it's a foul.
You're in the book.
Corey Gaines, 159 to 143. Spurs.
Reggie Williams played an excellent game tonight. Did a lot of things right.
3 Spurs with career highs tonight, including Reggie with 22. That's his Spur career high and overall career high. As we said, David Robinson with 43 and Sean Elliott with 29, also career highs tonight. And goaltending on the drive by Gaines, called on Massenberg. He's in the books yet again.
There he is, making things happen.
Well, what do you think? With the right people, can Denver be a serious NBA contender with this series, with this type of
well, with the right people, anybody
system?
can. Well, they were making it work in the first half, and it looks like fatigue. I think the Spurs made some adjustments. The Spurs are a good team, but you know, you could get beat by the same margin, you know, in the low hundreds.
Well, if that's the trade-off, I prefer this.
Well, yeah, they're all out there playing really hard because they're all getting a lot of shots. You know, they don't have the personnel right now to carry the kind of scoring averages that it's going to take to put 150 points on the board.
All right, now we've seen everything. A 3-pointer by T.R. Dunn.
You know, T.R. is going to have to up his 3-point shot. Todd Lichty is going to have to carry a pretty good scoring average in the NBA in order to get these kind of points on the board.
Well, points on the board for both teams. Remarkable for the Spurs. Enough for their second win without a loss this year. And Denver still winless at 0-4. 161 to 153 the final. The barrage of points we expected, and the Spurs have survived their first test by this radical new system installed in Denver by Paul Westhead. We'll be back for a final word in a moment.
It looked like another boring month. He was going to rearrange his sock drawer. She thought they'd fix the cap.
You're watching Spurs basketball on Home Sports Entertainment.
Now Emily Oil presents the play of the game. This begins with a miss by Todd Lichty. It ends with David Robinson at both ends of the floor.
A one-man gang right here. He gets to half court and can't find anybody to dish it to, and once he sees that opening, there's nobody down there that can stop him.
That is the Amalie Oil play of the game in a Spurs 161-153 victory. David Robinson leading the way with a career-high 43 points, 9 rebounds, all in the second half for the Admiral. And in a game in which there were a lot of career highs, which you could expect really for the Spurs' first look at Denver in the second half, the adjustments that you talked about at halftime they made.
Absolutely. I think Larry I think they got an idea. They were a little confused early before the game. I was talking to the guys as to what would happen and how it would go. Once they got to halftime and they have an idea of the pace and how much they're going to have left, I think Davis started moving out a little bit. He was bothering. He was all over Orlando in the second half. He bothered Rasmussen enough to make him look, make him see where he was. And they just upped the ante a little bit. And the Spurs, you know, Terry Cummings is just making every shot in the fourth quarter, which he did the other night. And you look at Denver's team, they're 0-4. I mean, the focus is on Paul Westhead's system, but you look at the team, and they're still 0-4, regardless of the system. They don't have the horses. They've traded away some of their mainstays, and they're trying to rebuild, and they're starting with this kind of a program.
Maybe not entirely bad, because it takes the onus off the players and on the coach.
And Paul Westhead's perfectly willing to take the heat. He has been taking the heat everywhere, and he's going to continue to take the heat. And the players don't seem discouraged at all. They're getting a lot of running up and down, a lot of time. And I think Paul's just talking to them about be patient. Wait till we get into the season. The whole bench of most NBA teams right now after training camp are in much better condition than they will be in a month, because you start playing and they're not getting that much time. There's no time to practice. And so these teams aren't as deep in terms of their conditioning as they are right now. So, I mean, it's patience. And everybody on the Denver team is going to have to get used to shooting a lot of shots, including T.R. Dunn.
And with a three-pointer tonight, the perfect way for this one to end. The Spurs got what they wanted, a lot of points, and a very entertaining win. They are 2-0 heading into a tough trip to Utah tomorrow evening. Again, our final 161-153 in favor of the Spurs. The executive producer of Home Sports Entertainment is Jack Stanfield. Senior producer and director of Spurs basketball is Robert Steinfeld. Associate producers Kurt Dykert and Mike Kikarillo. Our technical director Stacy Smith. Our engineer in charge Frank Thomas. Our statistician David Robinson. Remote facilities provided by John Crow Productions. Remember to join us Thursday, November 15th at 9:30 Central Time for our next HSE telecast as the Spurs visit the Sacramento Kings. Now this is Dave Barnett for Kobe Dietrich saying so long from Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio, where the Spurs won at 161-153. This has been an exclusive presentation of Home Sports Entertainment. From Hemisphere Arena in the Alamo City, you've been watching San Antonio Spurs basketball. This premium presentation has been brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold. Cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. By Chevy Trucks. Every day, more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Today's truck is Chevrolet. By True Value Hardware Stores. Got a tough job to do? They'll see you through it. You can do it with True Value Hardware Stores. And by Southwest Airlines, offering you everyday low fares and convenient flights to many exciting destinations.